but there's a very small number of people.
So sorry, you've
and
not
nobody
changed your
ever
position.
talks. No. That the trans
you
women.
haven't changed your position.
I
then.
have changed my position. Self-ID is what that was talking about.
Here's Gillian Keegan getting a little flustered as she's interviewed by Emma Barnett on the Today programme.
So the way this debate, and you're not being helpful now in trying to pick it apart in this way.
I've been 4 years on Woman's Hour.
Right.
Believe me, I've done my time in this trench and had these conversations.
Well,
my aim is not to be unhelpful. My aim is to get clarity from the Minister, the Secretary of State, if you let me finish, from the Secretary of State of Education, who has just banned teachers from talking about this exceptionally complicated subject that even the Secretary of State for Education has had to be re-educated about since December 2020.
So the campaign groups is what's caused a lot of this concern and confusion.
As you can hear, Keegan is keen to blame campaign groups over the confusion. But anyway, this somewhat undermines the regulations that Keegan is overseeing to basically shut down discussion or even the opportunity to educate children about gender identity issues, instead letting outside influences dictate how children come into contact with that information.
Trans women are women. It was not actually talking about people who had gone to do gender reassignment. What it turned out it was talking about was self-ID as well, which is absolutely not. If you're biologically male and you have male body, you are a man. You can try and self-ID and call yourself different things, but you are a man. But that is very different from people who have gone through the gender reassignment and have actually, basically had their bodies changed as a result of this.
And those who've had their bodies changed, you would say, are women. Those trans women are women. That's what you're delineating between. And
I think that's a sensitive way to handle it. I mean, it's a really, I think that is the correct way to handle it.
Gillian,
but
thank you for that.
let me be clear on gender ideology in schools as well, though. The thing that we're trying to stop is not gender reassignment. Gender reassignment is something that's a protected characteristic that adults are allowed to reassign their gender. There's a process they go through for that. That is a protected characteristic and that can be taught. Gender identity and ideology is something different. And this is part of probably similar campaign groups that have been building this the set of materials and this.
Again, she talks about campaign groups with influence, but here's the thing, whichever side of the fence you fall on regarding this issue, surely in schools is one of the best places to talk this over. If not, it will still happen by children accessing the internet and through contact with other people. So in effect, it's almost as if Keegan and the Tories are implementing a pointless vote-gathering exercise by sweeping the whole thing under the carpet, out of sight and out of mind.
This ideology.
Who educated you? You said in The Telegraph, I've got your interview here from 3 weeks ago, since becoming an MP and later a minister, I have learnt a huge more about this complex and challenging subject. Who educated the Education Secretary of State?
Lots of different people. I've spoken to lots of different people, lots of different trans groups. I've spoken to lots of different people in the medical profession. I've spoken to lots of different teachers and head teachers who've got some history of this. I'm a big listener. I've spoken to parents who've got concerns about it.
But that sounds really fruitful. That sounds like it's been a really interesting experience.
And it's input to this guidance.
Exactly.
It's not just the expert panel, it's 86 organisations and others as well.
Just to finish that thought, because of your insights here, do you not think that children, and as an extension teachers, the people in charge of educating them, would do well to have that sort of training so that there isn't a big silence around this, so that if a child comes to them and says, I've got a question about this, they're going to have, at the moment, with this guidance, should it go through, they're going to go, sorry, I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Absolutely not. You do need a bit of an update yourself on this, because the gender questioning guidance was released in December. I don't know if you read it, but that deals exactly with children who are questioning their gender, children who want to have that conversation, how that can be discussed in schools, how that can be acted upon, the parents' involvement, biological sex, what we do to protect safe spaces, what we do in sports. That is all there and laid out in the gender questioning guidance, which we published for consultation in December. We now have the consultation responses back. We're going through those and we'll be publishing that in the not too distant future.
So teachers will be trained to answer questions on gender by children who approach them, but there will be no lessons on gender ideology. So again, it seems as if the whole approach is don't make it visible. And this all said by Keegan, who seems proud to have received an education on gender that she seems happy to deny others. Click here for more. Emma Barnett goes head to head with Gillian Keegan.